Introducing first, accompanied by Angelica Dante, from New Orleans, Louisiana, and Kingsland, Texas, Siren the Voodoo Doll and Chainsaw.
Tag team action kicking it off tonight. Angelica Dante, the little sister of Chainsaw, bringing in Siren the Voodoo Doll, the team with her big sister, Chainsaw.
Right, Siren the Voodoo Doll made her surprising return just a few short weeks ago and has been a massive help in Angelica Dante and Chainsaw's goal of wreaking havoc in WOW Women of Wrestling.
Well, it was a complete surprise when Siren the Voodoo Doll appeared. Clearly, the mastermind of the little sister, Angelica Dante, that had her return to WOW Women of Wrestling. And now she's got her own tag team force.
They've been laying out a path of destruction, David, but as we saw just a couple of weeks ago, when Chainsaw tried to do the splash on Foxy Fierce,
and her sister, Roxy Fierce, came in and saved the day.
That's right, David.
And their opponents, from Sydney, Australia, and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Crystal Waters and Sandy Shore. Spring Break 24/7.
All right, David, let's see. Spring Break 24/7. Well, they got a little closer to the ring with the beach balls.
Yes, Nigel, but I wish they would carry those beach balls further into the ring and then hit them up into the audience. Then everybody would get to play with the beach balls.
Sandy Shore, Crystal Waters, ready for some in-ring competition. The two love to have a good time, David. Sandy Shore, Crystal Waters, and they have their work cut out for them with Siren the Voodoo Doll and Chainsaw, the unhinged, unpredictable Chainsaw. Julio Rodriguez, your official in this contest.
He was backing up when Chainsaw roared.
Wouldn't you, David?
Nigel, I don't even have to get into the ring to be fearful of Chainsaw. Spring Break members Sandy Shore and Crystal Waters both hesitant to enter the ring with Chainsaw. And with this delay into the ring, we see Chainsaw electing to tag her partner, Siren the Voodoo Doll.
Is 24/7 what? They're laughing at the Voodoo Doll.
Maybe this is how they want to freak out the Voodoo Doll and Chainsaw, but neither one of them getting into the ring. Now Sandy Shore gets in. Sandy Shore going to town on the Voodoo Doll and a fast tag to Crystal Waters.
That's right, David. A drop kick and a tag into Crystal Waters. Double team maneuver. Crystal Waters going for a senton splash. Connects, but Siren the Voodoo Doll kicks out before we can even get a one count, David. Crystal Waters, though, and Sandy Shore keeping the Voodoo Doll in their corner.
Fast tagging by the 24/7 party team.
And Crystal Waters sends Siren the Voodoo Doll right into the boot of Sandy Shore, who hooks the leg, gets the 2 count, David. I tell you what, David, this is the most on the same page I've seen Spring Break 24/7 in a while.
Well, their game's been just taken off by Chainsaw grabbing the back of Sandy Shore's hair and stretching her back across the 3rd rope and then slinging her back into the ring.
Jeez, did you see how those ropes just slung Sandy Shore almost all the way across the ring with very little ease from Chainsaw? It was like a rubber band, David.
You got that right, Nigel, as she picks up Sandy Shore and just tosses.
Gut wrench suplex by Chainsaw. Very powerful maneuver and one of her favorites to execute. Chainsaw with all of her force on Sandy Shore. Forearm shot in the corner. Chainsaw bearing the shoulders into the midsection of Sandy Shore as official Julio Rodriguez makes the count. Chainsaw taking each second she has left. Chainsaw with the boot right on the face of Sandy Shore. And Chainsaw seems to be reinvigorated, David, now as Siren the Voodoo Doll has showed back up. Siren has definitely brought a new element back to WOW and back to Chainsaw.
Look how that big mid of the hand just grabs the forehead of Sandy Shore and pulls her back into the middle of the ring.
Chainsaw with the choke. And Chainsaw, oh, she calls that the meat hook. The meat hook by Chainsaw, just digging her hands right into the
nose. Chainsaw goes.
into the nose, into the eyes, into the mouth. Chainsaw willing to hurt anybody part.
Those are some dirty fingernails, Nigel, and you know what I think about dirty fingernails.
Oh, I know you hate them, David. And you know Chainsaw in Kingsland, Texas, well, with the robe she wears out, who knows what she's put her hands on.
Don't get me going,
I
Nigel.
saw a face of one of the dearly departed on that apron.
Please. Voodoo Doll jamming away. The Voodoo Doll has been in the gym getting in shape, and she's returned to Wild Women Wrestling, and there is a powerful maneuver by the Voodoo Doll.
Voodoo Doll with a great throw to Sandy Shore, but Sandy Shore showing some resiliency here, David. Like I said before, Spring Break 24/7 seems like they're on the same page, David. This is the longest they've been in a match as of late. But again, the tag team standings are really heating up. Crystal Waters tagged in, going for a crucifix pin, and Sandy Shore with the drop kick.
Look at this, 1, 2, 3 we've got, but Chainsaw breaks it up. If they could do that maneuver over in their corner, they would get the win. They were in the wrong corner, Nigel.
They surely were, David, and ring positioning means everything, especially when you're in the ring with dangerous competitors like Chainsaw and Siren the Voodoo Doll. Chainsaw now using that size and power advantage on Crystal Waters to just torture Crystal Waters. And it's not scientific wrestling that you're seeing here, but it's brutal, and it certainly gets the job done for Chainsaw. Chainsaw with ease just flips Crystal Waters onto the purple canvas, and she's taking her time, methodically picking apart Crystal Waters and the team of Spring Break 24/7.
Spring Break. Spring Break.
David, we can hear the fans getting behind Crystal Waters and Sandy Shore as Crystal Waters fights back with a forearm, but didn't have a lot of velocity. That one had a little bit more, David. And Siren the Voodoo Doll taking a series of shots to Crystal Waters. Ooh, but a headbutt right into the midsection. Innovative offense by Siren the Voodoo Doll. Crystal Waters with the arm wringer. And the DDT on Siren the Voodoo Doll. Crystal Waters has been rocked and seemed to hit the DDT out of desperation. Slowly, both superheroes making their way back to their feet.
Look at this. It's Angelica Dante.
Angelica Dante, though, pulled Sandy Shore off the ring apron, David. And now Crystal Waters, another victim of Chainsaw.
Chainsaw's choking away. She's ready to take the chainsaw out and give it to Crystal Waters.
And Chainsaw sends Crystal Waters down to the canvas, and oh boy, here it is, the Chainsaw Splash. And I think, David, Spring Break might be over for Crystal Waters.
It certainly is.
Here are your winners, Siren the Voodoo Doll and Chainsaw.
Hey, here come Roxy and Foxy Fierce. Roxy and Foxy are in the ring. They're coming in to save 24/7 from Annihilation. And
Introducing first, from Waterboro, Maine, Ice Cold.
This is a singles competition, and Ice Cold right now is trying to stand out and wow as a singles competitor. Ice Cold having her glory moment of a pinfall being stolen by Genesis. But David, in this matchup, it'll be 100% on Ice Cold to gain a victory.
well, it's the first time I remember we were ever seeing Ice Cold in total singles competition. No one's on the outside. No Genesis, no Exodus.
And her opponent from Roseland, New Jersey, Ariel Sky.
And we all know Ariel Sky, the tenacious New Jerseyan, who overcame last time we saw her in singles action, getting hit. She recovered, she went to the outside, and she was able to gain her freedom against Coach Campanelli. No more water girl for Ariel Sky. And I gotta tell you, it was beautiful to see that special done on her by CBS television. CBS did a great job interviewing and featuring Ariel Sky recently. Now we've got the competition, Nigel.
Ariel Sky has more than proven in the last month or so that she deservedly needs to be recognized as a great singles competitor. Who can forget that emotional victory just 2 weeks ago with tears in her eyes? Ariel Sky with the moonsault on Gloria Glitter and picked up the 1, 2, 3, 4 team now as Ice Cold and Ariel Sky both looking to get a little momentum here in WOW.
Nice head scissors there. Ariel Sky was able to get out of it though, Nigel.
Ariel Sky, again, David,
Quickly moving out of that and across the body of Ice Cold.
well, she's been showing a lot more confidence in herself. I think being held down by top tier, being made the water girl, that was a painful thing that she had to go through, but now she's on the other side of it, David.
Well, what's interesting to me, Nigel, you mentioned that respectful of Ariel Sky, is the fact that Ice Cold herself possibly has been overshadowed. Look at that nice maneuver by Ice Cold. She's been in the background, if you will, of first Malaya Hasaka, and then Genesis, then Exodus, and now she's broken out on her own. Exile is all broken up. Genesis is all on her own. She's thrown everyone out of Exile except herself. She's going for that gold, the gold that's held right now by the Beast.
Wow, did you see the counter? That's right, David, by Ice Cold.
Yes, I saw that counter, and then another counter by Ariel Sky. They're countering back and forth, Nigel.
That's right, David, and now as Ariel Sky able to find herself out of the Boston Crab.
Look at that, Nigel. Ariel Sky taking down Ice Cold with that clothesline.
Both women trying to make it back to their feet now.
They're both getting up slowly.
Ice Cold using the ropes to get back on her feet, but Ariel Sky flying across the ring with the knee to the midsection of Ice Cold. Ice Cold hangs on to the top rope. Ice Cold reverses the momentum from the Irish Whip. And Ice Cold sends Ariel Sky down with the sidewalk slam. Good enough for a 2 count, says referee Ben Scheinberg.
Ariel Sky climbing to her feet. Ice Cold grabs the opportunity, puts her head right against, or the throat, if you will, against the second rope, and then that knee just to tighten that rope across the neck of Ariel Sky, slinging her off the second rope. Ice Cold going to town now. Ben Scheinberg, the referee, saying, hey, you can't do that. It's an illegal move. Let her get up. Let her grab the ropes and get to her feet. Ice Cold's having nothing to do with that instruction as she still pursues Ariel Sky.
Ice Cold trying to freeze the momentum, if you will, of Ariel Sky, who fights back with a shot of her own, but Ice Cold once again shuts down Ariel Sky, who has had a rough go at it over the past few weeks, but so has Ice Cold, as we've mentioned before. You know, David, this isn't the first time that these two competitors have faced off. Now, let's not forget, they've faced off in tag action and in trios action during the trios tournament.
Ice Cold taken back by Ariel Sky. Ariel Sky goes in for the boot, does not totally connect.
Ariel Sky with the enziguri now has Ice Cold in the corner.
Out the corner.
Ariel Sky with the Irish Whip to Ice Cold. Ice Cold with the reversal. And she charges Ariel Sky. Running knee connects to the side of the head of Ariel Sky now. As Ice Cold feels in control of this matchup, this is the time she needs to capitalize. Those signature double knees to the chest from Ice Cold. This could be the moment that Ice Cold is looking for to show that she's a true leader, a true singles competitor, David.
Ariel Sky showing her competitive spirit.
Ice Cold looking at this as an opportunity. Ariel Sky, as we mentioned, has picked up some momentum as of late. And now the enziguri to Ice Cold. Ariel Sky has taken all Ice Cold has to offer so far in this matchup. And Ariel Sky wailing away at Ice Cold. The Bulldog DDT attempt from Ariel Sky. Ice Cold with the face buster. Goes for the cover on Ariel Sky, gets a 2 count. Referee Ben Scheinberg sure has had his hands full in this matchup, David.
He sure has, Nigel. And right now, Ice Cold with Ariel Sky on her shoulders. Ariel manages to slide out from the grasp of Ice Cold, and look at this! A roll-up off the ropes.
Here is your winner
confidence, David.
Coach Campanelli comes in with Crush, Gloria Glitter, and they just attack. Here, and they are now teaching her a lesson. Once and for all, Ariel Sky is being taught a second lesson, if you will, from Coach Campanelli and her team of top tier. We've got to get somebody in here to help Ariel Sky.
David, look who's here.
All-Americans, the All-Americans are coming in here to clean house as Ariel Sky just scored a victory and then a pounding at the hands of top tier.
Thank goodness for the All-American girls. Santana, Garrett, and Americana here coming to the aid of Ariel Sky.
Santana, Garrett, and Americana rushing in to stop the needless, vicious attack of top tiers. Candy Crush, Gloria Glitter, and Coach Campanelli. We can hear the chants of the crowd.
Introducing first from the unforgiving Australian outback, Exodus!
David, we just saw one member, or former member, of Exile, ice cold, out here in action. Ariel Sky able to pick up the victory. And of course, Exodus hopes that the same doesn't come true with her as she faces Keta Rush in a rematch that the two had from several months ago in a draw. Both competitors with an MMA background showing off some of those skills.
Where you can see on the front of her uniform, no longer does she have the mark of exile.
And her opponent from Los Angeles, California, the Bully Buster, Keta Rush!
Keta Rush, the Bully Buster, and we've seen her in recent weeks in action, David, with that springboard crossbody. She was able to pick up a victory as of late, and Keta Rush a fan favorite here with our WOW superhero fans. Keta Rush, who of course runs the Bully Buster Academy. Great program for the youngsters, and certainly a positive force here in WOW. Keta Rush, longtime fan favorite, as Exodus awaits this all-important rematch between these two superheroes, David.
The first competition between these two superheroes ended with a no contest as noted. Many believe Exodus secured the pinfall on Keta, as we see here with the replay, but then again, many believe Keta secured the win via the tap out.
That's right, David. Well, remember that handshake that Exodus started out her match with Keta Rush last time? That's what got her in trouble. That started a lot of the drama that existed in Exile, David.
Well, Keta trying to shake hands has resulted again in Exodus placing Keta Rush in a compromised position as they get going in the startup of this match. And right now, Exodus is handing out the punishment to the Bully Buster, Keta Rush. Snapmare by Exodus on Keta. Keta trying to get her breath and composure.
Keta Rush is trying to make her way back up to a vertical base, and Exodus trying to make sure that Keta Rush stays down on the mat. And that's where Exodus can be very dangerous with that MMA background, David.
Both of them have it, though, Nigel, and we saw it on display the last time these two competitors met. The victor, not determined last time, and they wanted a rematch to see which one is the better competitor in the squared circle of professional wrestling. Here, Keta locking up, now possibly grabbing that arm. If she could only twist and turn Exodus, she might be able to get a submission. This is actually the maneuver where I recall that Keta's shoulders were pinned.
That's right, it's
Exodus
a triangle hold.
picking her up, and lifting her into the top turnbuckle goes Exodus. Keta falling to the mat.
Absolutely amazing strength by Exodus after that triangle hold of Keta Rush, who's used that hold several times here in WOW to pick up a victory, but Exodus scouted it well and used her strength to break it, David.
Paige checking on Keta Rush if she's okay and can continue. Keta saying, yes, I certainly can, as Exodus now pulls her right back into the center of the squared circle.
And that's exactly where you want her if you're Exodus, hooking the leg of Keta Rush and getting a 2 count from Paige, Prince of Ali. And David, speaking of Exile, coming up in our main event, it's Genesis who won that triple threat matchup, and she will be taking on Princess Aussie. What a matchup that's going to be.
We're seeing all the members of Exile tonight. We saw Ice Cold, now we see Exodus, and then we're going to see Genesis, all for the first time ever in single competition tonight. It's a first tonight for WOW. Keta trying to get to the top of her feet, trying to bully her way up, and she does. Blows to the midsection, a kick is missed by Keta Rush. She goes to hit the ropes, and now she tries to take over Exodus, and she manages to do so. Exodus now taken down with a drop kick. Keta goes to the corner, comes in with another drop kick. Keta Rush now is showing why she's the high flyer of WOW. Exodus taking that left arm, spinning, grabbing the neck.
Ooh, and a snap suplex by Exodus after those drop kicks with much velocity behind him from Keta Rush now. Looks like Exodus is trying to wear down Keta Rush and possibly put her in a submission hold. Clubbing blows to the back from Exodus, David. And now Keta Rush sent to the outside of the ring, courtesy of Exodus.
Keta Rush is in trouble.
And David, I believe Exodus was yelling right over here at you. Exodus yelling at all the fans.
She's yelling at everybody, Nigel.
I think that, yes, she's an equal opportunity.
She's angry that she's been exiled from Exile.
She seems very frustrated, but David, that can't really be of much help in this matchup. We've talked about it before. If she lets it get in her head too much, that could cost her, and it does right now.
Keta Rush coming right up to the top of the apron. Keta Rush now leaps in the ropes and falls right on top of Exodus with that gorgeous Superman leap, if you will. Is that a 2 count?
The springboard crossbody by Keta Rush, and she walks away with the big 1, 2, 3. Keta Rush, the Bully Buster. The first matchup ended in a draw.
Introducing first from the unforgiving Australian outback, Genesis!
And Genesis, the third and final member of the former team Exile that has a match here tonight. And Genesis certainly has a chip on her shoulder. Genesis has been through quite a lot of adversity, losing in the trios tournament, not happy with her team, but she's taken it as a chip on her shoulder, David, and she's here to prove a point. Take a look at the nunchucks.
And the point is that she is ready to dominate WOW Women of Wrestling. She wants a title shot for sure, Nigel.
She definitely wants a title shot, David, but so does her opponent, a former WOW World Champion.
And her opponent from the beautiful country down under, Princess Aussie!
David, we talked about the adversity that Genesis has overcome here in WOW, but I can't think of any member on the WOW roster who's overcome more than Princess Aussie. One of the greatest WOW champions that we've had, David. Princess Aussie is as strong as they come, is as resilient as they come, and she's ready for this matchup, David, because everybody's vying for a shot at the WOW World Championship.
Certainly are, Nigel. And there were some of the youngsters that love watching WOW Women of Wrestling on television here. And boy, their eyes lit up when they saw the former champion Princess Aussie making her way to ringside. Aussie, of course, is a big heroine in the country of Australia. But what's unique is her opponent, Genesis, is also from Australia. We have 2 Australians in the ring for this main event matchup.
That's a great observation, David, and absolutely true. It shows you can be from the same place, but you can handle your business in 2 different ways. Genesis has a chip on her shoulder. Princess Aussie has used her adversity to push her forward and focus on the positive manner. Nonetheless, we'll see who wins in this matchup. Referee Julio Rodriguez in charge of the action in our main event match, David.
The main event is underway, fans.
Genesis and Princess Aussie feeling each other out, locking up like 2 bulls. Princess Aussie, waistlock on Genesis. Genesis, not afraid to bend and break the rules just a little bit, stomping on the foot of Princess Aussie, the former WOW World Champion. And Princess Aussie, as of late, has been in tag team action with Tormenta. But now this is a singles matchup, David, for Princess Aussie.
Well, she and Tormenta make a formidable tag team, as you know, but right now Aussie's going for the gold again.
What a back elbow by the former WOW World Champion. Good enough for a 1 count, but Genesis is here to prove a point, David. Like I said, she does have a huge chip on her shoulder.
I think Genesis has always had a chip on her shoulder. Even when she was a member of Exile, she mentioned her background, growing up in Australia, going to a private school, feeling like fellow classmates didn't like her, feeling like her mom and dad put her in the private school. And as she said, she's appreciative of that, but she always felt isolated as a kid, and she always felt alone. And so I believe as she became an adult, that isolation, as she's even noted, continued by growing a chip on her shoulder.
That's right, David. And Genesis trying to isolate Princess Aussie for a 3 count. No, just a 2. David, you know, all 3 members, I guess, of the former group, Exile, have competed here tonight. Neither Ice Cold nor Exodus able to pick up a victory. So what a message it would send once again if Genesis can get the 1, 2, 3 in tonight's main event.
That's very interesting, Nigel. I didn't think about that, but you're exactly right. Genesis would like to be the singled out person from Team Exile to get the victory tonight. I'm sure of that.
And Genesis using that top rope to choke out Princess Aussie, drapes her leg across for extra leverage, and slingshots Princess Aussie to the middle of the ring, clubbing blow to the back. And a leg drop to follow it up by Genesis. Genesis now locking the head of Princess Aussie. An arm right in there. She's got her into leg scissors, David. There's Genesis.
Aussie's in trouble. She's too far to get to the ropes, though. Referee even noted that if you grab the ropes, I could make the break. Aussie leveraging herself backwards with her strong legs.
And Genesis was also pulling the hair of Princess Aussie. Aussie, though, a resourceful wrestler, a former champion, was able to turn it into a pin attempt, but unfortunately, that's all she was able to get. Now the X-choke in the turnbuckle, David.
Well, as Aussie turned and she was holding her chin, it was like a boxer. She sent a message to Genesis with that chin leaning, and Genesis took advantage of it and clobbered it.
Genesis fully charged, goes into the turnbuckle, but Princess Aussie moves out of the way. Princess Aussie, schoolgirl roll up. Will it be enough? No, Genesis hangs on in this matchup. In our main event, David, Princess Aussie now on fire. The momentum continues to build for the former WOW World Champion, Princess Aussie. And right now, Genesis is reeling.
Kick to the midsection by Aussie to Genesis.
You know, we've talked what a win would be for Genesis, but what a huge message it would send if Princess Aussie picked up the victory here tonight. It could send a message to the Beast. Hey, she could be the next one in line for a WOW World Championship shot.
Aussie would love that, so would Genesis. Both of these competitors would like a shot at the gold.
Princess Aussie now, thrown off by Genesis.
Missed with that kick. Clothesline miss. Full Nelson. Another miss.
And it's just counter for counter in this matchup. We've seen Princess Aussie do that. That's the Dragon Suplex, and it connects, and you have to think that the neck of Genesis in severe pain right now, David. Very risky maneuver. Princess Aussie, middle of the ring. We talk about ring placement. It doesn't get any better than that, but Genesis able to get the shoulder up and kick out of that pin attempt after a very impressive and powerful Dragon Suplex.
Both of these competitors are weary in this main event match.
And we've seen both of these superheroes give it their all, David. Both have something to prove, and both want to prove something here in the main event slot. You make it to the main event slot, David, you want to win that matchup. You want to prove you deserve to be in that matchup, and now the X-choke, a variation of it by Genesis.
Aussie, though, showing some power, some strength, and some resilience here.
And Genesis, ooh, that's the X-breaker from Genesis. And this could be the end of the matchup. She's got the leg hook of Princess Aussie, and Julio Rodriguez says no. Just two. But David, I think that That's all Princess Aussie has left in her. How could she have more gas left in the tank? She's unloaded every piece of offense she could possibly think of.
I saw that maneuver where Genesis pulled her back with those feet. There you see it into the back, and Aussie's in trouble as she grimaced and grabbed the back right by the kidneys. All I could think of was Abilene Maverick, who's still in pain after receiving that beat down by the Beast and that big drop from the sky from the Beast that took Abilene out of action and put her in that wheelchair into recovery. Aussie now regaining herself, taking Genesis right down.
Aussie with the angel wing DDT on the 1, 2, 3.
She is holding herself. She is still in pain.
What a massive victory for Princess Aussie. And as I said earlier, David, what a message this sends to the WOW World Champion and to contenders like Penelope Pink, David.